everybody, I'm Christy Dosh, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about your business name. I've seen discussions about business names a lot in Facebook groups lately, and I've had a discussion with one of my own clients about what her business name should be and whether or not her business name is the right one for her business. So I just thought I'd spend a few minutes today, I won't keep you too long, talking about your business name and whether it really matters or not. One of the questions I've seen the most is whether your business name should be the same as your name. So if you know, the name of my business is Guide My Brand, so it is not my name, Christy Dosh. And I chose that because I do think that ideally your business name tells people right off the bat what you do. I have my own brand with my name as a sports broadcaster, and I could have gone that direction because I do sort of have a brand and a following with that. And I even have a nickname I use in the sports world, sports business, and that has been great for me from a branding perspective. But when I got ready to sort of up-level my coaching business, I decided I wanted my name to really reflect what I do. And I always tell people my mantra is make it easy for people to remember you. So think about all of the people in the businesses you see on social media every day, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or Periscope or Snapchat or Instagram, whatever social media channel you're on. You see a lot of people and a lot of businesses. And I've talked in some of my past scopes and a lot in my blog about branding and about being consistent and, getting colors and fonts that are part of your brand style and using those over and over. It's because you want to make it easy for people to remember you. And, if your business name tells them what you do, that starts building a relationship between you and that person where they recognize what you do, the service or the product that you can provide. And then, hopefully that's something that's intriguing to them. That doesn't mean that it's bad if your business name isn't that sort of descriptive name. I think if it's not, you've got to have a tagline that tells people what you do. So when they're on your website or they're on your social media and they're looking at your profile, I really think you've got to have that great tagline that tells them what you do if your business name isn't going to make it clear for them. And I think you've got to have a story behind your business name. And no matter what business name you chose, there's probably a reason behind it. Just to give you an example, I have a client and I didn't understand her business name. I wasn't even sure how to pronounce it. It did not describe what her business does. And so one of our very first coaching calls, I asked her, I said, what does the name mean? Where did you get it from? And she told me that it was a combination of both of her grandmother's names. And she went on to talk about the influence that her grandmother has had in her life and why she chose that as her business name. And it turned out that that story actually went along really well with what she was doing for her business. And so we came up with a marketing plan where we incorporated that story about her grandmothers into her brand. And we even talked about making the grandmas sort of characters in her brand and having quotes that were from them and having stories that were from them and grandma would tell you to do this and that sort of thing and making that all part of her brand. So if your business name doesn't make it clear what you do, please tell people what the story is. Explain to them how you chose that nickname or whatever it is that you're using. Explain the story to them and really build that in, because at the end of the day, people connect with people. They don't connect with companies. So even though my company is Guide My Brand, and hopefully that makes clear that what I do is help people with branding and with building the brand for their business, or even with some people it's building their personal brand, I weave a lot of my personal story into my social media posts, into my blogs, into my email newsletters, because that's what people connect with. And as a matter of fact, every single client I have came to me because there was some part of my story they connected with. I have a former corporate attorney. I'm also a former corporate attorney. I have 2 sports writers. I've been a sports writer, and the list sort of goes on. These were all people who saw some piece of my story, and actually all people who saw some piece of my story on social media and who connected with that piece of my story and wanted to work with me because they felt like, if I had been there and done that, they could do it too. And that, hopefully I could show them the way. So you want to intersperse your personal story, especially if your business name doesn't tell exactly what it is you do. And then just be consistent. I saw somebody talking about this in a Facebook group yesterday. She was very stressed out because she's been using her nickname for her business instead of her real name. And she had gotten some advice that maybe she should change her business name to her real name, and she was asking people what they thought. And because it's already established, and you know, it had a sort of nice ring to it, most people were telling her keep the nickname. And even I told her at this point, keep the nickname, but be consistent. One person had commented above me and had said they were really confused because they knew her by her nickname. And then when they got an email newsletter from her, the email newsletter had her sort of given birth name on it, which is different. And so they were confused. They didn't realize that that was from the same person. That is where the problem comes in when you get into, you know, kind of a different name and it doesn't necessarily describe what your business does and it's not your given birth name, is you don't want to confuse people. So be consistent. Once you decide what that name is, use it consistently on your email, across your social media, and everything you do that's public facing, use that same name. So all my social media channels are all Guide My Brand. My website is Guide My Brand. When you get an email from me, it's Christy@GuideMyBrand. So you want to have that consistency across the board so that it sticks in people's minds and they remember you, and you start to build that relationship and the trust so that hopefully they come back to you and they buy either your product or your service. So that's kind of what I have to say about naming your business. I know we've still got a couple of people on here live. If you guys want to ask any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Or if you don't want to ask them here in front of everybody, feel free to find me on social media. Like I said, on pretty much every social media channel, my handle is Guide My Brand. So Twitter, my Facebook page, you can find me there. Or feel free to email me, Christy@GuideMyBrand, and Christy is KRISTI. So feel free to shoot me an email if you want to talk about this further. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday. I am headed that direction to the beach to go walk on the beach. And it's so cliche to enjoy a walk on the beach, but I do. And it's great exercise. So I am going to go take a long walk on the beach. And if you want to ask me questions, I will check my email when I get back. Thank you.